off the top tonight at 5, look around Bangor. New video right here. Trees down across the city this afternoon after storms rolled through that area today. There are also a lot of power outages. Otherwise, we have not received word of any other significant impacts on homes or businesses or traffic in Bangor. Crews right now are working hard to get underway with the cleanup there. Thanks for joining us at 5 today. I'm Brian Nicono.
And I'm Amanda Hill. Dana Osgood joins us with details on those storms, where they hit, and whether we can expect more tonight. Hi there, Dana.
Hi, Amanda and Brian. The good news is that the storm activity at this point has mostly come to an end. There is a little bit of shower activity left over along areas of the coastline and in northern Maine, as well as a little bit of shower activity up in Canada. That might reach the mountains, but it doesn't look like it's going to come in force of thunderstorms. But we do have a lot of thunderstorm activity that went through the state earlier today, and we saw some of those pictures up in Bangor. We had a lot of damaging wind gusts. That was the main threat that we were watching for today, and that certainly panned out, unfortunately. Across the state, all of these dots here, you can see that these turquoise dots are reports that we have had of storm damage. That could be power lines down, that could be trees down, or other damage to buildings, and we're continuing to get more of those reports coming in. And luckily, though, at this point, most of these storm activity has come to an end. So this is a photo here that Catherine sent in to us from Livermore Falls. Obviously a large tree down here on this car. And then Nancy sent in this photo from Leeds Road in Livermore. There's a tree down here on these power lines that these workers are getting ready to remove. So we've had a lot of those storm reports across the state today. And as this cold front continues to move farther and farther offshore, it will bring the rest of the wildfire smoke with it. That is a silver lining with this cold front today. We will have more abundant sunshine and non-hazy sunshine as we go into the day tomorrow. We do, though, have some more rain to talk about for the weekend forecast. I'll have all the details about that in a few minutes.
4 days after his death at the hands of an ICE agent, Johann Sebastian Guerrero's wife spoke publicly for the first time.
She was joined just about an hour ago by the family's lawyer and translators. News CENTER Maine's Bailey Cornick joining us live, also outside from where that family just spoke this afternoon. Hi, Bailey.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Amanda. So we're actually in the room where Carolina was speaking just a few moments ago, and I can just say, to be frank, certainly it was a very heavy scene. There wasn't really, just looking among the press around me, there really wasn't a dry eye in the room, and we certainly heard a lot of sniffles. But her lawyer, Ben Gideon, clarified today is not a day about lawyers. That day will come. But today is a day about remembering Johann Sebastian. We have a soundbite from her that just couldn't get uploaded, but I am going to read a little bit of what she had to say. Let's see. She talked about how he's a great person, a loving dad, a hard worker. He had multiple jobs, and he was just especially a spectacular father to their daughter, Dulce. Here's a little bit about what she had to say about kind of their nightly routine. So she said he would hold her close. Becoming a dad was a dream for him. And he would always say that little girl will never lack for anything. From the minute he held her tiny hand, he never let her go. Always gave her whatever she wanted to. They went to the park together every afternoon, and he would say she's getting so big and so beautiful. And Carolina said that he lived for her. Everything he did was in the name of her. And Carolina said right now she just doesn't have the strength to tell their daughter Dulce that when she asks when's daddy coming home, she can't. She doesn't have the strength to explain that to her right now. I also want to mention that they went to the park together a day before he was shot and killed, and she said it was a beautiful day and they had a special day together. So at 6, we will be able to hear from Carolina and hear a little more firsthand about her remarks for her husband. But for now, I'll toss it back to you guys.
Bailey Cornick live for us with our update there tonight in Biddeford. Thank you. Now, since that shooting, some local businesses there have been looking for ways to support Guerrero's family and the greater community. News
CENTER Maine's Alex Haskell joins us live from Biddeford to explain more. Hi, Alex.
Hey, Amanda. Hey, Brian. Well, right behind me here is the growing memorial for Guerrero. And today I did speak with several local business owners who tell me after this shooting, they are feeling like they have to do something to help out, looking for something to do. Now, that one of those owners includes Catherine Ham. She's the co-owner of Fish and Whistle. Ham says after the shooting, she's felt paralyzed and unsure of how to help as the community grapples with grief and frustration. She decided to use her business's social media to share a fundraiser supporting Guerrero's family. We also spoke with Kelsey Cummings, owner of Offhand Clothing and Ceramics. Her way of showing support has been writing a message of solidarity on her shop window, hoping it shows people they are not alone.
I'm a hard worker, and I'm going to work hard to make sure people know about this too. So if I have to write a message on a window, if I have to show up, I'm here for my community.
I think the fundraiser to help the family, that feels like the most tangible way that we can make a difference right now.
Also want to mention that the Southeast Asian restaurant Bidobon says it's donating 10% of all sales this week to an effort that will help relocate Guerrero's family. Live in Biddeford, Alex Haskell, CENTER Maine.
500 delegates from across the state of Maine will be selected this weekend to represent each county at the upcoming convention to elect a new Democratic Senate nominee.
According to the Democratic State Committee, registered Democrats will be able to vote for their preferred delegates at a meeting held by their county's Democratic Committee. The delegates will then be elected based on who has the highest number of votes, going down the list until each county has their allocated number of delegate slots filled. Some meetings will be in person while others will be virtual, but state committee chairs say the shared goal is to be as transparent as possible.
The intention from the very, very beginning was to craft a process that is open, that is inclusive, that allows for many people to be involved.
They will come away feeling like they had, important participation in this process, and it's really unprecedented. So it was uncharted territory, but I think we've done a really good job.
Information on the time and location of each county's delegate meeting can be found on the Democratic State Committee's website.
And tonight at 7 o'clock, we are hosting a debate between the Democratic candidates who are competing to face Senator Susan Collins in November.
You can watch on air and on our streaming platform this evening. We want to bring in Christian Harson now with a bit of candidate introduction. Hi, Christian.
Hi, Brian and Amanda. It's going to be here in our studio at 7 o'clock that we're going to have 8 Democratic candidates all vying to, yes, compete against Senator Susan Collins. It's going to be broken up into 2 halves, 4 and 4. And in that first half, there's going to be some familiar faces. Maine Secretary of State Shenna Bellows, as well as former Maine Senate President Troy Jackson and former Maine CDC Director Nirav Shah, all of them running in that governor primary back in June. They will also be joined by political strategist Jordan Wood, who came in 3rd place in the District 2 congressional primary. You'll hear from those candidates in that first half. The second half will begin roughly around 8 p.m. and also feature 4 candidates. David Costello spent nearly a decade working for USAID and recently ran unsuccessfully, winning 8% of the vote in the Senate primary in June. Maine Beer Company co-founder Dan Kleben, who ran in the Senate primary but dropped out after Governor Janet Mills entered the race, will also be there, along with Elizabeth Dickerson, who served in the Maine House representing Rockland and has been a town manager in Limestone. Ashley Webb lives in Farmington and ran twice for the New Hampshire State House unsuccessfully. Now, all of these 8 candidates qualified and submitted their paperwork to the Maine Democratic Party by Tuesday at 5 p.m., meaning that they qualified for New Center Maine's debate tonight, which you can watch starting at 7 o'clock on air and online. Brian and Amanda.
Christian Harsa in our studio. Our thanks to you, Christian. Governor Janet Mills held her final opioid response summit in Bangor today. News
Center Maine's Akua Deval has an update on the progress officials say has been made and challenges that remain.
It's a room full of stories.
However, we stand here today and we speak about our sons' lives.
Of loss, struggles, and recovery.
These people in this room were part of the solution to some of these incredible problems. and they know how to create community even in difficult times.
Thursday's gathering inside the Cross Insurance Center marks Governor Janet Mills' 8th and final opioid response summit, bringing together state leaders, healthcare workers, and people with lived experience.
I've been in recovery for 7 years, so I was secretly using heroin and trying to stop by myself and not able to.
Advocate Alan Burgess says one of the biggest challenges during his recovery was access to care living in a rural area.
When I was looking for recovery in Piscataquis County, in Guilford and Sangerville, Maine, there was none. I hadn't even heard of it, and I had no idea how to find it.
Governor Mills' director of opioid response, Gordon Smith, says stories like Burgess's shows why gatherings like this matter.
We haven't walked in their shoes, but so many people now are willing to tell their story, so we can say, oh, that's why this person struggled.
According to the Maine CDC, fatal overdoses dropped 20% last year, but Smith says the decline isn't a reason to slow down.
It's really not about the governor and I. It's really about the people in this room and the people in recovery. And people are recovering out loud.
We need to remain hopeful that we can continue this, that people in recovery continue to show up and get to recover out loud.
The summit's theme centers on hope, recognizing the progress made and the work still ahead.
I'm really hoping for today is that people will leave here and be more hopeful, and that they will hopefully, we will pass the torch to a group of people that will continue another 8 summits.
What's going on?
Proving while the summit may be ending, leaders say the work and the hope for recovery continues. In Bangor, Akua Deval, News Center, Maine.
For more information or help with substance abuse services, you can call or text the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.